So hello, welcome. I'm Sven Goethals, Commercial Director, Hydrogen and Decarbonization at TRACTEBEL. And before starting my presentation, I think also it's important that we, in the hydrogen community, that we can also show examples, that projects that we concretize. And this is one of those examples of projects that is realized and that's today operational, running, and showing that hydrogen is a solution for the future. It's a mining truck where that has been converted from diesel to hydrogen, and TRACTEBEL was responsible for doing the whole engineering from A to Z for the electrolyzer facility, the storage, the fueling station, but also, and that's perhaps a little particular, an associated and dedicated PV park. You can see a little bit the size of the truck with our project manager in front, but it really shows that for heavy duty mobility in harsh conditions, hydrogen is a solution. But now, let's first start with a short, let's say, focusing on where TRACTEBEL stands. You see here the ENR ranking, an international ranking on the, let's say, the size and the activities of engineering companies. And you can see that finally everywhere, or every field that's important for hydrogen, the upstream hydrogen value chain, TRACTEBEL is mentioned in the top 10. And what's also so important is that we are the only engineering company that is in all those categories top 10. So we really cover the whole value chain. If you look to our company, and there you see the figures for 2021, turnover largely, slowly, a little bit above $500 million, 5,000 employees worldwide, our presence in over 40 countries. But for hydrogen, it's important to see, where do you have people and where do you have projects? And on this map, with the update of beginning of this year, you can see that we have over 100 projects and that we have a staff over 60 people and are important and are present in all the regions where today hydrogen is concretizing. And that's really important that you can see and that you can be present everywhere, but that you can also share the experience between the regions, because perhaps one region is front runner today, another region will be front runner tomorrow, and as such you can co-fertilize and co-inspire people and your projects on a day-to-day basis. So about renewable energy and export, what is our vision? If you look to the renewable energy sources, a lot of people when you speak about renewable energy only speak about wind and solar, and then mostly even onshore solar. But don't forget that we have also hydro, geothermal, bioenergy, and probably still a lot of others that I forget. And so for sure, there's an important role for wind and solar. But these are not the only renewable sources to be considered. It's important if we look to a hydrogen project and hydrogen, I'd say renewable energy for export, that we really look widely. If we look to the export solutions, it's clear that as we have in most of the cases an initial electrical carrier, but it's electricity that should play a first role in export solutions. And then for sure we have hydrogen by pipe, we have liquid hydrogen by ship, we have ammonia by ship, we have methanol LNG by ship, we have methane that you can do again by pipe, or you have liquid organic hydrogen, but you have also the bulk, white bulk, where we still have a lot of biomass available, and today this is a proven value chain exporting renewable energy between countries. And what we see is that in most of the solutions we have a balancing between electrons versus molecules, a balancing between pipe versus ship, and also when we look to the shipping solutions, a variety of solutions is available, and all the solutions have a various level of maturity. It's clear that ammonia and methanol and LNG today have the highest maturity. Nevertheless, if we look to the solutions not for tomorrow, but for the day after tomorrow, I think we should consider all the different solutions, because it's not sure that the solution that's today seems to be the front runner will also be tomorrow the front runner. Exporting regions, And perhaps a little bit surprising, you can see that as the first regions, I put Southern Europe, Northern Europe, North Sea and Atlantic, and I looked at it a little bit in the order of priority of Western Europe. And then for sure you have Middle East Africa, you have North and South America, and you have even Australia. But we think also that when you look to the exporting regions, you will have a balancing between intra versus intercontinental. We can think about, if you think about renewable energy for export, you can think about bringing renewable energy from Spain to Western Europe. You can think about bringing hydro energy from Norway to Western Europe. But I think also we have the whole North Sea with an enormous potential. And you see also that the hydrogen backbone being already developed between North Sea regions, importing, exporting, offshore wind through different countries. So if we look to exporting green energy, and we look to the project sizes of today and the project size of tomorrow, it's clear that just evacuating green electricity, this is a major technology. It will for sure grow, but the big growth is not anymore to expect it. Green H2 production and green electricity export, it will grow. Furthermore, we expect in the short term that the ammonia exports will grow, green H2 pipelines will grow, and then as the level of maturity is a little bit smaller, we'll go to liquid hydrogen, liquid organic hydrogen, and other exports. However, what we don't know, what will be the ramping up, and what will be the future solutions. And for this, I think it's important that as of today, we still keep our view quite open and look to all solutions that are possible, because we don't know what will be in the future really the preferential energy carrier. Now we would like to go through some examples of projects on which you are working. For sure, for us as an engineering company, it's important to showcase you what are the projects we are active, what are the activities we are doing. On the other hand, I think also through the projects we are doing, we give you a range and a portfolio of what's presently on the market and what's presently happening in the community. And the first thing is this conversion to ammonia. And here perhaps it's a small example, but we think it's an important example, because it's the first example. It's also the first project in Australia, where the project or the works really started, where we'll have a hydrogen facility that will replace a small portion of the gray by the green hydrogen. And so here we speak about a 10 megawatt electrolyzer, 18 megawatt dedicated PV park, but also an 8 megawatt battery. And for sure, it's only a small example. It's not yet the integrated solution of green hydrogen and green ammonia, but it's important that we go up slowly, that we demonstrate also at the lower cases at 10 megawatt that we are capable in delivering, to ensure and also convince at the longer term the investors and the banks that the solutions that we bring in will pay back and are reliable. The second example, and that's a project in Belgium, where I've shown you also the example where we can think about having methane, so finally, let's say traditional natural gas as a carrier. And here is an example where today we are working on a 100 megawatt electrolyzer, where we'll combine the hydrogen with carbon and then create e-methane. And then if you speak about e-methane, one of the big advantages is that you can use the existing value chains on methane and on LNG to export energy, and those value chains are proven. But also what's important is that for those value chains, the offtake is ensured. Another example of ammonia, large scale, it's a project in Chile. You see that if we speak about import-export, finally we are on the whole globe. Here we're already at the largest scale. On the other hand, the level of study is still at pre-feasibility study. But you see here a concept over several tens or even hundreds of kilometers, where you have an inland hydrogen ammonia plant, where you have then also, in this case, an ammonia pipeline, an ammonia storage, and then export of the ammonia towards the importing countries. Important always in these cases is you see it's a very isolated region. We will have winds and we will have sun, but we also need to ensure that your system will be working in a stable way. So you will really you cannot count on the you cannot count on the grid, your surrounding grid. And so this is, for instance, an example of a project that's 100% compatible with the delegated act as presently announced by the European Commission. Because you will have temporal correlation, you will have geographic correlation, and you will have additionality. Another example here in Egypt, we hear a lot of speaking about Egypt. We know also when we speak about the Middle East, again, we have excellent wind and sun conditions. Most of the carriers today considered in Egypt are linked to ammonia. But for instance, this client also asked us to see to what extent we could consider methanol as an export carrier and then valorizing biogenic CO2. Another example, a client in Tunisia who is looking to liquid organic hydrogen carrier. It's a shipping company, and those guys believe more in the potential of liquid organic carrier. It's close to Europe, but it's also one of the examples, one of the projects which makes us believe that even if today liquid organic carrier is something with limited examples, we don't know if in future this will not be the carrier of the future. And then the last example that I want to share with you is the example that we do. It's an association or collaboration between Portugal and the Netherlands, where we are developing for NG Shell, Vopak and Anthony Veller a value chain exporting renewable energy from Portugal to Rotterdam, and this based on liquid hydrogen. Again, liquid hydrogen is not so advanced as of today as ammonia, but who knows, it may be also one of the carriers or maybe one of the predominant carriers of the future. And last but not least, we speak a lot about shipping, but also we have the whole hydrogen backbones. We see today that projects are concretizing for the time being still isolated parts. But if you look to the map of Europe on the hydrogen backbone, even for 2030, we see already that regional exports will be there. We think between Netherlands and Belgium, between France and Germany, but also between Spain and France. And so this is definitely also something that will take place, transporting by pipeline the hydrogen from one region to another. And then one example, it's our own R&D where we work on the offshore hydrogen production. And there for sure, when you have in the North Sea offshore hydrogen, it may serve all the neighboring North Sea countries. And to some extent also, again, here we have this export-import value chain. So if you want to have more information, if you want to discuss further on these concepts, also on the way how you feel or how you think projects can be concretized, then on the engineering part, because this is definitely one of the big challenges that the industry needs to tackle. Don't hesitate to pass at our booth and either have a discussion with me or with my colleague Andre on the topic. Thanks for your attention and hope to meet you at our booth.